This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat that far. All right, I'm gonna say this right now. Ryan Garcia is not a quote unquote racist as they're putting him out to be. Ryan Garcia is the product of, when you got people that don't look like me, people that don't look like anyone that is a resemblance of me, that get comfortable around people like me, and then they say something that they have no business saying. That was basically what it was at its truest and its most properest levels. It wasn't anything that was overblown. It wasn't anything that was just said because this guy has these things in his heart and he's basically protruding it and pushing it out. What we're getting is a bunch of Devin Haney fanboys that are butthurt. You see, no amount of PEDs, even though Ostrin, really it's laughable, it's comical, because Ostrin is basically PEDs that women use. So right then and there, why would Ryan Garcia use something that goes against his own gender? Let me say it again. Why would he use something that goes against his own gender? It's a things that make you say, It's a things that make you say, But in its most visceral form of cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth-teller fashion, Devin Haney fanboys needed something to cling to. They needed something to hold on to. They needed something. And see, this was the something that they needed in order for them to create a catalyst, in order for them to create something that was more than what it actually is. But when you're using the true boxing eye test, and boxing eye test doesn't have to necessarily be inside the square circle, it could be something that is an observation. Like security officers, they observe and report. So you can observe and report that they're doing this as a detour, as a projection against the fact that Devin Haney got exposed. No amount of Ostrin, even though it's a 1/6 of a billionth of a gram, which really does not affect performance at any level per se, can change the fact that he got hit with shots after shots after shots. He was getting exposed with shots after shots after shots. And that left hook was connecting over and over and over again. That is a trainer's fault, and it is a boxer's fault. Let me say it again. It is a trainer's fault, and it's a boxer's fault. Trainer in the sense that the trainer didn't tell the fighter what kind of adjustments to make. Fighter in the sense that the fighter was getting hit with the shots and the fighter didn't make the necessary adjustments in ring through ring generalship to change up some things. So clearly it shows you there is a de facto error. There is what we call erroneous ways with Devin Haney's boxing ability. And it clearly shows us that Bill Haney has no reason being a fucking boxing trainer, let alone a Mayweather hater. See, what we learn is the Mayweather curse is real. And every time someone says something inflammatory, something egregious, something that basically showcases their hatred, their trolling, their haterisms and the trollisms that is the dichotomy of a Floyd Mayweather, because he's a dichotomy. He's a walking dichotomy of TBE. It puts you in the precarious situations of what we call a Mayweather curse. Boxers need to stop mentioning Floyd Mayweather, because there's a commonality of every time you mention Floyd, you get a curse. So if I was them, I would leave it alone. It's not a curse in the sense that Floyd is putting a hex on you. It's not a curse in the sense that Floyd is sitting there conjuring voodoo. No one is talking about that cockamamie nonsense. It is basically the fact that this guy, through blood, sweat, and tears, developed his boxing career the way that he did. And then instead of guys using it as a blueprint to push themselves in the right direction, in terms of seeing that they probably need to get over the hump, they probably need to get over the hurdles in what they have to do, they want to hate on Floyd. But see, every time you hate on Floyd, you put yourself in a position to where you start having problems in your boxing career. You can't hate on greatness. We've said this before. Greatness personification can only be hindered. The motherfucker can't be stopped. Let me say it again. Greatness personification can only be hindered. The motherfucker can't be stopped. So when you hate on greatness personification, you're hindering your own greatness. And hence, you're putting yourself in what we call precarious situation. See, Floyd is the embodiment of what every boxer should prescribe to be in terms of inside the square circle. No one is sitting here saying that you have to do everything that Floyd Mayweather does, all of the antics and all of that. Maybe that's not your personality. We're not talking about that. But the emulation of what this man has done for the sport, the emulation in terms of what this man brings to the sport, and the emulation in terms of what this man embodies to the sport, he is the Michael Jordan of boxing. So hence, it behooves you to fall in line with that lineage. You see, the greatest student in any genre of sports was Kobe Bryant. Because Kobe Bryant understood, you know what? If I'm going to be great, I'm going to have to look at the playbook of the greatest that ever did it. And I'm going to emulate this thing, but I'm going to put my own spin on it. I'm not going to hate on it. You're not going to see me say anything inflammatory, anything egregious, anything crazy against it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get advised by it, and I'm going to basically see if I can ascend it through my hard work, through my dedication, through my Mamba mentality. See, if Devin Haney would have done this in the crossroads of his boxing career, ever since he started getting exposed by Alfredo Santiago, because I've been telling people this, from that time, the exposure was there. Then Devin Haney would have made the necessary adjustments. Adjustment 1, your father has no reason being a boxing trainer. He has no reason training you. So when we see the unraveling of what happened in the Ryan Garcia fight, it was a culmination of hard-headedness. It was a culmination of stubbornness. And it was a culmination of like father, like son. They lack accountability. They lacked looking in the mirror and doing what's called self-reflection, in what's called self-evaluation. And self-preservation was not the law of the land, because if self-preservation was the law of the land with them, they would do the necessary work to make the change. But they didn't do that. They chose to hide behind the cocoon of their boxing fans that are basically a reflection of themselves. See, show me a boxing fan and I'll show you the personality of that boxing fan. Let me say it again. Show me the boxing fan and I will show you the personality of the boxing fan. And what is the personality of the boxing fan for Devin Haney? They're just like him and Bill Haney. They lack accountability. They don't want to take up the fact that Devin Haney got exposed. They don't want to take up the fact that Devin Haney, you need to go back to the tool yard and the tool shed and you need to develop something. You need to become better. You need to transform us more than meets the eyes. Because guess what? You are not more than meets the eyes. You need to let us know what you're about. But what you've continuously showed us that you're about taking snacks. You're about taking illegal substance. You're about stuffing your face with illegalities. You're about blowing up and going past the California State Association and Commission of Boxing, the New York State Commission and Boxing of the 18%, blowing up 25 plus pounds, having Mauricio Solomon even calling out Bill Haney in a video conference call and saying, hey, why is your son fighting like a middle heavyweight? Why is he fighting like a lightweight, a light heavyweight, but yet he's a lightweight? See, these are the things that are in its cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat true telefashion that we have to bring out. So Devin Haney, this exposure was inevitable. This exposure had a timestamp on it, and it was eventually going to happen. So when it's all said and done, this whole thing that Ryan Garcia said this, he said that, it's a detour to try to detour your mind from the fact that Devin Haney got exposed. This is He Knows Everything. Check it out.